Here in Zimbabwe, October is often referred to as suicide month because the weather becomes so hot that it's unbearable. Even the nights remain hot, so it's a popular October activity to grab some drinks and have an evening poolside braai. In the spirit of cooking food on an open wood fire, today we're looking at the Wildfire. How can you use this weapon to roast the opposition? How can you survive its hellish flames? How do you get that perfect juicy inside but seared on the outside doneness? It's time for a Loadout Lowdown. Ahoy! Captain Benzie here, coming at you in association with the fiery tale Armajet team. The aim of this series is to help aspiring pilots like yourself understand the weaponry in the Armajet arsenal, both to learn how to best counter your opponents and to make you more lethal in the arena. These videos cover both basic and advanced weapon usage, include a section on what loadouts work well with the weapon, and end with a short discussion of the various skins and what they reference and mean. If you'd like to help support this channel, you can do so either by letting the adverts play out or by heading over to my Patreon page and joining these epic people in joining my crew. Of course, liking this video, subscribing to the channel, ringing the notification bell and telling your friends also helps massively. Before we begin, much of the footage for this Loadout Lowdown was supplied by Fiery Tail's own girl on fire, the one and only Vipensity. She does stream fairly frequently, so head on over and show her some support. With that all said, grab a bag of marshmallows as things are about to get toasty. The Wildfire is a unique weapon in the Armajet arsenal. On first glance, it's simply a flamethrower that belches a stream of white-hot flames to consume enemy pilots. What makes the weapon so unique is that it's capable of igniting both enemy pilots and the ground around them, allowing for a very unique playstyle. Other frontline weapons require you to swoop in and rinse your opponent with a torrential storm of lead or lightning. If your prey outranges you mid-run, that's it, damage over, thanks for playing. Not so with the Wildfire. You watch an inferno this intense over a pilot and something's bound to catch. Then you can watch with sadistic hilarity as the pilot soars away to supposed safety, only to wilt away in a cascade of embers seconds later. Pilots hit by the Wildfire burn and take extra damage over a short period of time, and this is every bit as infuriating for them as you might imagine. The Wildfire has always been one of those weapons you see like the venom that gets pilots seething, like they're a kettle and that extra heat causes them to boil over and whistle in outrage. Actually, that's a pretty apt description for many pilots, a hollow metal case filled with hot water and steam. But the Wildfire doesn't just ignite pilots. Oh no, you can go full US military and burn down the entire damned arena if you want to, and reenact your favourite scenes from Apocalypse Now. Light up a stretch of ground or watch every pilot on the enemy team desperately waste a jetpack boost trying to land absolutely anywhere else. This also makes the Wildfire surprisingly effective for removing any turrets that the enemy team have inconsiderately placed in an awkward position. You know, just in case nobody in your team had the foresight to pack an EMP grenade. Give a quick flyby, douse the ground around that tripod in flame, and leave it to burn to scrap whilst you go off hunting other prey. But let's be fair, who's really playing the Wildfire to burn up inanimate weapons platforms? No, you're playing this weapon because you love the smell of bacon and the sound of fat spitting and hissing as it melts off the bone. Flesh. You're here to melt flesh. Well, Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. I'm going to tell you how best to do that, and Vipensity is going to demonstrate. The biggest mistake that prospective Wildfire users make is that they think it's best to point the nozzle at a group of enemies, swoop in, and empty an entire tank of lit gasoline on them until they're crispy. Thing is, you can't just think that's how it's gonna work. You gotta believe! Like most frontline weapons, the Wildfire works best if you can get in, light them up, and get out before they can point the boomsticks right back at you. This is a bit more difficult with the Wildfire than many other of the frontline weapons due to its increased weight. The Wildfire, you see, is heavy, and so it does take a bit more effort to pick up speed and to maintain it. Though of course, gravity is your friend. You see, if you can start your run from a higher point and swoop down, a downward boost will very quickly help you reach VMAX, and then bunny hopping effectively, that'll allow you to carry that momentum as you come in like a wrecking ball, made of fire and pain, and incinerate all in your path. It's also worth aiming at your opponent's knees or ankles if they're touching ground. If an opponent is taking damage from the Wildfire and ignited ground around them, they're gonna melt faster than the Nazis at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. So how does one douse the flames of an enemy Wildfire user? Well, as with most frontliners, you can either punch them out from a distance with a long-range weapon, preferably just as they're diving towards someone else, or you can beat them at their own game. Weapons like the Typhoon, Dominion, or Lycan will out-damage a Wildfire pilot diving you, and trust me, there is very little more hilarious than watching enemies start to swoop, only for you to empty a shotgun blast through their eye sockets. Try to engage Wildfire users from the air if you can. Sure, you'll still feel the heat if they try to scorch you, but if you're skyward, you won't take any additional damage from standing in fire. You see, if you've ever been raiding in an MMO, you'll know that standing in fire is usually a bad idea, so don't be that moron. If you're liking the sound of this whole burn everyone and everything malarkey, where do you go from here? Well, here's some suggested loadouts for being the hottest pilot in the arena, literally. My personal favourite Wildfire loadout is the classic all the fire, all the time loadout. Practice safe barbecue, always use a condiment. Here you twin the Wildfire with an incendiary grenade, as no good braai is complete without some hot sauce. This loadout is perfect for those of you who want to spend your time in the arena gleefully setting everything alight. The ultimate can be swapped out here. I personally like the flame drone just for the added protection of anything coming close getting reduced to smouldering ash, but some do prefer the napalm airstrike just to really turn absolutely all of the arena into a raging inferno. Of course, the Wildfire does twin fairly well with almost every other secondary out there. I don't think any of them are particularly bad choices, as even the proximity mine is a solid choice for making your opponents dread ever putting their feet onto solid ground. I quite like the Widowblade though, as its quick cooldown means it's a great tool for finishing off the one that got away. So what about the Wildfire's unique skins? Well, the Maelstrom is the first one we'll look at. The kill card shows a Norse dragon boat, and the flavour text references Aegir, a sea jotun who prepared a feast for the gods and is especially known for the ale he brews in a gigantic cauldron. My kind of guy, my kind of brew. The Maelstrom is a reference to the Norse raiding parties that raided and pillaged the north of England. When the dragon ships arrived and the raiders made landfall, they'd rush through local towns and villages, stealing anything of worth, including the women, and setting fire to the rest. If terrorising the coastlines of 9th century northern Europe is your jam, this skin works nicely with the Underworld set of skins. The Apocalypse skin is a rusted, dirty-looking weapon that appears to have seen a lot of action. Steel in the sky, blood on the sand, gasoline in your veins. This is all a clear reference to the Mad Max series of films set in a post-apocalyptic Australian desert where gangs of warring nomads roam the sands in vehicles thrown together from scrap. I'm told this is why Inspiral is so good at Armajet. Water and gasoline are two of the most valuable resources. As silly as it seems to be using one of these valuable resources in weaponry, in Fury Road, the fourth film, Immortanjo's war fleet plays host to a musician strapped to the back of a truck playing an electric guitar that shoots fire. Because why the heck not? I like to twin the Apocalypse with one of the Dune skins, which seems fitting when we're referencing films set in the desert. The bacon and eggs is a double reference. On surface level, it's simply referencing a breakfast fry-up with canisters of egg and a nozzle made to look like streaky bacon. The flavour text seems to be referencing Apocalypse Now though, where Kilgore utters the famous line,
"I love the smell of napalm in the morning. It smells like victory."
Truly the skin for the unhinged pilot who doesn't just want to score kills, but wants to cook up the competition and eat the enemy team for breakfast. Use this with the Hive skins. Finally, the legendary skin is the Pyromaniac. This psychedelic weapon skin hints at the sadistic insanity of a Wildfire pilot. The vibrant colours and rainbow designs are a stark contrast to the violent nature of the weapon, and I can't help but feel that the kill card is also a reference to the cartoon series My Little Pony, and I just love the idea of taking something so innocent and cute, making for a truly hilarious weapon skin. This one works very well with the Blacklight skins, especially Umako. Well, that just about wraps things up for this Loadout Lowdown. I do hope you found it entertaining and informative. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and thank you for watching right to the end. Let me know your thoughts on the weapon or your favourite Wildfire skin combination in the comments section below. Slam that subscribe button and ding the bell for more Armajet content coming your way soon. Happy sailing, and see you in the arena!